Hello, everyone. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, as per your respective time zone. On behalf of entire Evosys Managed Services team, we'd like to welcome you all to our 22A Global Human Resource Advisory webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarter release which Oracle provides. My name is Hardik Patel, and I'm an Operations Manager here at Evosys Managed Services. Today, I'm your host for this session, and I'm glad to introduce my colleague, Surekala Maduri, who's part of our vast HCM team at Evosys. Today, she'll take us through all the global human resource updates for 22A quarter release. Today's session is planned for around 45 to 60 minutes, and we'll also make sure that we also leave some time to answer all your questions you may have. We have experts in line. They'll be, during the session, they'll be answering all your questions you can write to us. Before we move to the agenda, let's have a quick look at the important disclaimer. As we all noticed that Oracle has notified some customers about 22A upgrade happening along with the 22B in the month of May. So customers are requested to check the respective notifications accordingly. However, this webinar is mainly to equip you with the latest updates on 22A. Let's move to today's agenda. We would like to convey you our approach towards the Oracle updates in a very simpler method. We'll be taking you through vital analysis for the 22A updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporating new features and updates easily into your system. We'll also sync you on any bugs and known issues if there are any. It's good to have an interactive session, so please do ask your questions through chat or question panel, and we'll answer them at the end of the session and during the session as well. In case if we run out of time, we'll make sure that we even respond to you by connecting you at a later stage. This is to give you a glimpse on how we have created the structure of this session. The first thing coming up is list of new features coming into 22A. Detailing on features so you get brief understanding on, on all the new features. Next one is what are the business benefits and the important takeaway for you as a decision maker. There are 4 components where we have done in-depth analysis of the features which are going to present to you today. The first one is impact level analysis, which demonstrates the impact on the end user. If it's low impact, then regression testing can be avoided or not. If it's high impact, then we need to opt for regression testing. Second one, which we all are aware that there are some features which are by default auto-enabled by Oracle, and there's some which we need to opt for. And the third one highlights the nature of the feature. There'll be certain configuration which we may require, or some can be used without any changes. And the last one was the quick win. This term we used to simply convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and effort to make use of this feature. Before I hand it over to my colleague, we would quickly like to know that which industry your organization belongs to. So I'm going to launch one very quick poll on the screen you'll see, and would like to have you say that which industry does your organization belongs to. So if you can please rate us. Thank you, everyone. I'll be closing this poll. And with that, I'll be handing over to my colleague, Surekala. Over to you, Surekala. You can unmute and go ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Hardik. Good evening, everyone. Welcome you all to the webinar of Oracle Cloud Global Human Resources 22A Upgrade Features. Let's look at the count of features that are released in 22A specific to Global HR and other common features. There are total 25 features delivered under Global HR and 14 common features that are used across the HCM module. Depending on the complexity of the feature, we have identified 23 of them as quick wins, meaning they are easy to use, require minimal configuration changes, and less impact on the existing functionality. Rest are complex features that may need significant amount of configuration changes and might need regression testing as well. Let me first walk you through the features specific to Global HR. We have further categorized these into quick wins default with no configuration, quick wins default with configuration, quick wins that are opt-ins, and the rest. Quick wins default with no configuration. Inline display of questionnaire in journey task. As we all know, journeys are extensions to checklist. Oracle Journeys enable HR team to deliver a step-by-step guidance to walk employees through various events. The questionnaire task in Journeys enable users to submit their response to a series of questions. Previously, while responding to a questionnaire task in Journeys, it used to open in a different responsive page. With the new enhancement, questionnaire will now open in the same page as the journey task without having to leave the page. This provides a more seamless user experience while responding to a questionnaire. Dashboard tab in Journeys. This is a very good feature introduced by Oracle in 22A. The dashboard enables users to add and view reports that are configured for use in Journeys. You can start making use of dashboard to provide more user-friendly solution to users for accessing reports related to Journeys. Pre-fill document record attributes by scanning an attachment. While creating the document of records, we can now see an extra action available under the Add Action button. We can make use of this new action Add from Attachment in order to scan a document and pre-fill document record attributes by scanning them from attachment. Once you scan the document, select the document type and then click on Extract Data to map the document record fields with data from the attachment. While we can scan fields like numbers from date, to date, and so on, when scanning a date field, the document record field date format should be same as the format from the attachment. The file formats supported currently for scanning the document are PDF, PPT, Doc, Text, and XLS. With this feature, we can save a lot of time by scanning the fields instead of entering them manually. Change publish date for existing document records. You can now edit the publish date for existing document records directly from the document records page. Earlier, this is a read-only field and we cannot edit or change the value once entered. Few points to consider here are, if you change the publish date to a later than the current date, then a warning message is displayed which states that the document record won't be displayed on the UI until the changed publish date is reached. If you click OK in the message, the application will use the modified date. View source of document record creation. Document of records can be created from different sources such as recruiting, absence, checklist, so on. Users can now view the source object used to create the document record. We can now even filter to view document records from a particular source. This provides more information about the document record and an extended filtering capability. Display edit icon for document delivery preferences. Manage delivery preferences edit icon will now be displayed for those documents that users have access to. Using this feature, one can set the delivery preferences for the relevant document records based on the access level. Simulate employment approval rules. Oracle introduced this feature in 21D to few processes and now extended the functionality to other employment flows such as add contingent worker, add non-worker, add pending worker, and so on. The new simulate action gives you an easy way to test the approval rule changes without having to recreate or submit any new transactions. With this feature, you can easily debug and test the approval rules and instantaneously see the impact of the change. Standard component attributes and other enhancements for employment notifications. Oracle has enhanced the employment notifications to include additional salary component attributes. Responsive employment flows like hire an employee, add pending worker, now includes the proposed standard component attribute, whereas proposed and current standard component attribute values can now be seen respectively on responsive employment flows such as change assignment, promote, transfer, change location, and so on. This new enhancement, approvers can now see detailed breakup of standard components and can also see the next salary review date. Depending on the level of customization, one need to make changes to the data sets and RTF templates in order to make use of this feature. Workforce structures, simulate workforce structures approval rules. Similar to simulate employment approval rules, we can now see the simulate option available for the following workforce structure approval rules, such as request a new position, request position change, position details, job details, and location details. Position, job, and location available only in responsive pages in work area. Oracle is highly recommending its users to start migrating from classic UI to responsive pages. From 22A onwards, Oracle insists users to start using the responsive UI pages for these actions like manage positions, manage jobs, and manage locations. The benefits of moving to responsive pages are we can leverage enhanced features developed on these responsive pages. Also, the page renders seamlessly on any device such as desktop, laptop, tablet, thereby providing a consistent user experience across devices. Now, moving on to features that are quick wins and default with configuration. Secure viewing of global journeys. Starting 22A, only the specific users with access to global journey templates can see them on the Explore tab in Journeys, while other users can see only the personal journey templates. This feature enables you to restrict the display of global journey templates to all users. Audit assigned journeys and tasks. Audit history enables you to view changes to the application data, such as the business objects that were created, updated, and deleted. Oracle now enhanced the auditing capability on the allocated checklist and task by including more attributes. The allocated checklist object now includes allocated person number, name, category, and status, whereas allocated checklist task includes allocation checklist ID, name, status, and some more fields for auditing. You can view who made what changes to the allocated checklist and allocated task using this new feature. Configure journey name display format on journey cards. You can now configure the display of journey name on journey card in a specific format. This helps users to differentiate the journey instances each time you assign the same journey to same worker. The supported formats are the name to show the journey name, the instance journey instance, location date followed by the format and comments. If you do not configure the format and an instance of the same journey is assigned, it displays the name in default format of journey name followed by the instance number. Archive and purge allocated checklist and assign journeys. From 22A onwards, based on configured values, allocated checklist and assigned journeys in terminal status will be archived and purged automatically. Archive and purge journey data process will evaluate the eligibility of checklist and journeys for archive and purge based on the duration configured in archive after month and purge after month fields on the checklist template setup page. For checklist and journeys allocated prior to update 22A, you need to run the archive and purge journey data process manually. Purging the old data improves overall performance on the assigned journeys and task pages. Configurable workers LOV available on the employment pages. You can centrally configure list of values used in HCM. For example, you can configure the searchable fields for workers LOV so that the same search field appears on all pages that have this LOV. You can also hide fields that are not relevant for your organization. You can add additional fields. reorder fields to reflect their relevancy in the organization. Next, introduction of new approval payload for standard component salary basis type and other enhancements. You can now configure approval rules for standard component salary basis type using new workers salary simple component details approval payload attribute. This attribute is available for use the following employment approval process as listed in the slide, such as hire an employee, add a pending worker, add a contingent worker, and so on. Also, a new attribute CRUD operation is available under the worker salary details approval payload. We can make use of this attribute to track salary changes. The values that can be set for this attribute are create when a new salary is being created, and delete while deleting the salary, correction when correcting the salary, and no change when there is no change to the salary. Additional filter using employee location attribute for client side location LOV. We can now filter the locations using the employee location attribute along with the business unit set and legal employer. The enhanced location LOV is available on the employment flows such as add contingent worker, add assignment, and so on. On the location details page, you need to set the attribute employee location value to know for the locations which you want to exclude from the locations LOV. This feature improves the usability by further refining the location filtering capabilities. Add security for withdrawing resignations. Prior to this enhancement, workers who submitted resignations could also withdraw them. However, with this enhancement, workers cannot withdraw their resignation unless they have the required privilege. If you want to retain the earlier behavior of allowing workers to withdraw their resignations, then you need to add a new privilege, withdraw resignation, to the worker's custom role. Next, moving on to features that are quick win and opt-ins. Journeys integration with Process Cloud. Developers and integrators now have a simple mechanism to register Oracle process automation processes within Journeys. It helps you to automate the business process that are essential for your organization. The screenshot shows an example of automating the uniform request process for new hires. Within the organization, we assign the process automation task to a performer as a part of journey. And when they click start in the task, it initiates the process in OPA. The processing status is displayed on the task until the process is completed. Automate rule for document records business object. In order to use the autocomplete rules in the HCM Experience Design Studio, first we need to log in SR with Oracle and enable the autocomplete rules. There is an out-of-box autocomplete rule delivered by Oracle to show a warning when the published date entered is after the current date. To use the delivered rule, we need to make a copy of the delivered rule, modified rule according to the requirement, and then set it to active. Autocomplete rules for person contact relationship business object. The following are the rules delivered out of box for the person contact relationship business object. We can incorporate the following validations, any of the following validations as per the business need. The first validation checks if the contact exists based on the last name, date of birth, and relationship. The second validation checks if the contact exists based on the name and relationship. The third one validates if contact exists based on the national ID. Validate if contact exists based on the name, date of birth, and relationship. These are the four validation autocomplete rules delivered by Oracle in order to validate the person contact relationship. We can make use of any of the delivered rules as per the company's need. Next, moving on to the features. Autocomplete rules in position and job business objects based on current and proposed values. From 22A, two new view accessors, get existing position and get existing job are added to compare the old and new values of position and job attributes respectively. Using these two new accessors, we can write validation rules such as validate if a DFF segment is updated when updating a position, or if a department is changed based on a position. In this screenshot shown here, a validation is added to check if a region code, which is attribute 13, is updated when there is a change in position. If there is a change in region code with position update, an error message is displayed saying the region code cannot be modified. V3 termination and resignation. Now with V3 termination, we can use the termination pages to terminate a single assignment as well as terminate a whole work relationship. In V2 terminations, only the HR specialist could use end assignment action to perform assignment level termination, whereas in V3 termination, the line managers can perform assignment level termination as it is a part of the termination process. In V2 termination, you can view termination details at work relationship level, whereas in V3 termination, you can view the same details at assignment level. For V3 termination, you have same person level security and assignment level security similar to V2 termination. However, if you use the assignment level security, you cannot terminate the work relationship unless you have access to all the assignments in work relationship. We need to enable V3 termination in order to use the new functionality. This may require a significant amount of changes and requires a regression testing. Autocomplete rules for HCM Experience Design Studio enhancements. We can make use of the following functions available from 22A while configuring autocomplete rules. We can convert a string in YYYMMDD format to a date global function. Also, we can use an exit rule in a condition block. For example, if you want to exclude a certain validations from a particular legal entity, we can make use of this exit rule in such scenarios. Also, we can make use of exit loop to exit a loop once you find the row you are looking for, and the rule skip to the next row when the current row isn't the one you are looking for. Transaction Design Studio for HCM Experience Design Studio enhancements. Increase your data quality by ensuring that your users complete the required fields before submitting the transaction. In the example below, for the hire an employee flow, the payroll details and salary sections have been made mandatory. So when user initiates the process, the payroll details and salary are not displayed as an option, as they must be part of the guided process flow. Also, we can personalize the save and close actions in the toolbar. This enables users to save their transactions at any point of time. Next, moving on to the HCM common features. Enhancements to approvals and notifications. Now the refresh icon is available in each row to refresh the status of individual transactions or the icon in the header row to refresh all the transactions shown on the page. These three columns are refreshed when you click on the refresh icon. The status, assignee, and issue assignee. This gets refreshed every time when we refresh a particular transaction. Extending regenerate security profiles for transactions, recruiting, and payroll. Oracle is enhancing the regenerate data security profile process in every release to include more profile options. The following security profiles are now included from 22A. One is payroll security profile, the flow pattern security profile, transaction security profile, and job requisition security profile. With this, the process now supports all the available security profile types. While this saves a lot of time, otherwise users would go to each security profile and manually save each security profile individually in order to regenerate the security. Position security profile hierarchy access enhances HCM delegation. Prior to this enhancement, it is possible to delegate a static list of positions. However, it is not possible for a delegator to dynamically delegate access using HCM delegation. This a new enhancement now allows IT security managers to configure the position security profile so that users such as line managers can delegate the position hierarchy access through a delegated data role. Once the setup is complete, proxy users can use the assignments feature to view the expected positions. As shown in this screenshot, by default, on my team, the proxy's own assignment appears, but we can choose the delegator's assignment in order to access the additional positions. Secure business objects now available to business users. HCM Data Loader provides a flexible and efficient method of bulk loading of data and for data migration and ongoing incremental updates. Oracle now extended the support to load data for the following business object, which is a payroll interface inbound record. Pre-configured HCM spreadsheet data loader access. Users with below job roles can now access the HCM spreadsheet loader without any extra configuration. The compensation analyst, compensation manager, human resource specialist, and all these users with the above mentioned roles, the HCM spreadsheet data loader is available on these job roles. Enhancements to view business objects. The attribute tabs of the view business object user interface now displays the reference attributes. These attributes are used for reporting on the datasets. HCM Data Loader Business Object Enhancements. You can now extend your data loading capabilities with these enhanced business objects. Two new attributes are added on the business object access symmetry. While your new attributes are added on some of the global HR related business objects, you can no longer upload date effective updates for pending workers. You can only create and correct existing records using HTL. Also, you can no longer delete actions and action reasons using HTL. New warning message. Occasionally, errors can occur even after your data load is successful. It could be due to the HCM data loader staging table updates after the Oracle HCM Cloud changes have been made. Now a new warning message will be shown and dataset will have a warning status instead of the error status. Retention period for HCM extracts archive data. Archives generated by full run extracts that are older than 90 days are automatically purged to improve the efficiency of the extract runs. Earlier, you are required to manually purge the older archives to improve the performance of the extract runs. With this, we complete our analysis on Global HR 22A updates. Thank you. Passing over to Hardik.
Hello, thank you everyone. Thank you, Shirikala, for wonderful insights. Before we move to the Q&A part, would quickly like to note down your area of interest in order to organize the future webinars. So on this poll, if you can tell us your area of interest, it would be great help. We can create more value-based content going forward. Thank you so much. We'll be closing the poll. And if there are any questions, we're more than happy to take them. I don't think there are any in the chat or question panel. If there are any questions. Yeah.
So there's one question. Hello, everyone. This is Praveen. So there's a one confusion which we have seen across most of the customers around autocomplete features. So let me throw some lights on autocomplete. So this autocomplete feature, you have seen a lot of new features are available from Oracle around autocomplete. Some of the standard or new rules have been introduced by Oracle. In order to be able to use autocomplete, you'll have to raise an SR with Oracle, and there's a process with which Oracle judges the scenarios that you want to include in your environment, and based on the confirmation from Oracle, they will enable autocomplete for you as a customer, post which you will be able to use all these autocomplete related new features that have been introduced by Oracle. So this is just an additional information for all of you who aren't aware of autocomplete. So Hardik, there are no questions in from anyone, and I don't see any questions in the chat as well. So
yeah,
over to you.
Fine. Yeah, thank you. So if you have any other questions at the later stage, you can reach out to your dedicated project manager. If you need one-to-one connect or anything, we're more than happy to do that for you. If you're not an Evosys customer, you can also write on business@evosysglobal.com. And you can see the upcoming webinars. You can pass it to your colleagues as well on the screen right now. And we'll send you the recording of this session along with the presentation and the test scripts as well for you to test. And before you leave us, we'd quickly like to know that how we did today on the scale of 1 to 5, please. How was the overall experience on the scale of 0 to 5, 1 to 5? Just to remind everyone once again, we'll be sending you this presentation along with the recording in upcoming days, along with the test scripts, which you can use it. You can also pass it to your colleagues within the organization. Thank you everyone for the poll. We'll be closing the poll now. Really appreciate everyone for your efforts. And thank you once again. Thank you all for your valuable time.